Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video I want to show you the results of the Blight test that I just finished. And the reason why I wanted to do this test is because a lot of people are actually asking me about Blight as a strategy, and I haven't farmed Blight in more than a year, so I don't really know that much about this strategy, so I decided to give it a shot so I can learn a bit more about it. And when I talk about Blight, I mean Blight in just normal maps, not farming the actual blighted maps. We're basically gonna be doing regular encounters and dropping the blighted maps. But before I move on to the strategy, I quickly want to make a disclaimer that I'm not super proud of this test and the strategy, because there has been a lot of issues with it. So quickly before I move on to the strategy, I want to mention them. So first one is, like I already said, I haven't really farmed Blight in a very long time, so I am not super good with it. But I am pretty sure if I made any mistakes or I could have done this more efficiently, people in comments are gonna write something down and let us know. And this is actually what I like about the fact that I'm making these videos. They are basically becoming like a hub where people can in the comments talk about their experiences and share their opinion about certain strategy. So please let me know in the comments if you know a bit more about it. So that's the first issue. Second issue is that I actually don't have that great of a build for the strategy. Blight is one of these mechanics that you just have to do properly, because, for example, Legion, if you kill a little bit of the monsters in Legion, you're still gonna get some loot, right? You don't need to have a perfect build. Obviously, you would prefer to kill everything, but you don't have to kill absolutely everything. In Blight, if you don't kill every monster except for like 9, you can let 9 monsters go into a pump, but if you are not mostly killing all of the monsters, you're just gonna fail the encounters and you're not gonna get any loot. So you need to full clear it. So that's the issue. And my build is not that great. In case you don't know, I'm playing General Scry right now, which is kind of like a melee build, so it doesn't have that great of a clear. So when I wanted to do this test, I actually almost gave up because I was failing most of the encounters. But then I did upgrade my gear a little bit, and I made it a bit better for Blight specifically. So I got Asenath gloves for a better clear. I also got Lion's Roar, which actually saved me a lot because it knockbacks enemies. So very often I would be able to save the pump from being exploded. And I also got some other upgrades for additional damage. So after these changes, and also I got the enchants for rings, seismic tower, stun duration. After these changes, I was able to complete most of the Blight encounters. I still failed a few of them, you're gonna see it in a spreadsheet, but I would say like 90% of them were completed. Another issue is the fact that Blight is very weird in terms of investing into it. So what I mean by that is when you are, for example, doing Legion, you would want to do like a low investment. You would just use the Rusted Legion Scarab. You would buy them for like 1C and you would just add 1 Legion, kill it and go out. If you would want to invest more into a strategy, you would go for Gilded, which would, on top of a regular encounter, give you some additional bonuses like Warhorde in general. And with Gilded Legion Scarab, you would then start to use things like Legion on map device, Sextant for additional Legion. So you would have, let's say, three Legions in the maps, and all of them would be affected by Gilded Legion Scarabs. On top of that, then you would use a Sextant for duplicated splinters, and all 3 encounters would be buffed by that. But in terms of blighted maps, I mean Blight in maps,
I cannot do
let me actually show you the example here. If you put Gilded Blighted Scarab and a map, and you want to use Blight on a map device, it actually will not let you open the map because it says map being open already contains a Blight encounter. And I did test multiple ways to obtain Blight in a map, and I realized that you actually can't put any more Blight encounters into a map if you are using Scarab, which is the main reason you would want to put multiple Blight encounters into a map, for these bonuses that you get from Gilded Blight Scarabs, right? Like if you would want to do a low investment, you would just use a Rusted Scarab, which is like 1C. you would want to do a high investment, you would go for Gilded Blight, and then you would add additional Blight from a map device, additional Blight for Sextant, but you actually just can't do it. And if you can't do Gilded Blight, you could just use a normal one and then use a map device and Sextant, but why would you ever want to pay 8 chaos for a normal Blight encounter that is not affected by Gilded Scarab bonuses, if you could just open a second map to get the second encounter basically for 1 CN, I guess, price of a map, which would be like 3 to 4 chaos. So yeah, you can't really invest too much into the strategy, and I wanted to test the investment. I actually, in this test, I did 3 tests, each one of them with 24 maps. One was with low investment, second one with medium, and second one with high, but I actually couldn't put multiple blind encounters into a map. And the last issue is the fact that I actually forgot to take these Atlas passives. I don't know why. I think I just thought there's only 3 clusters for Blight. So this one, and is there one more somewhere? Actually, that's 2. So yeah, I guess I just took 2 clusters and I forgot about the third one. Oh yeah, there is third one here. Yeah, I forgot about this one. So I took this one, and this one, and yeah, I forgot about the 4th one. A lot of other league mechanics have only 3 clusters, so I think I just thought there are 3. So yeah, I forgot about this one. So if you are gonna look at the spreadsheet, you should just think of it as a bit worse results. If you're gonna take these, you're gonna have a little bit better results. Okay, so I think these are all of the issues. So now let's move on to the strategy. So like I mentioned, I wanted to do 3 tests. One with low investment, which was just Rusted Blight Scarab. Then medium investment, which was Gilded Blight Scarab. And then third one was Gilded Blight with Sextant. That gives you all of your oils are gonna be 1 tier higher. But it also increases the cost of building towers, which makes the encounter more difficult. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. It costs only 10 chaos, which basically means you're paying 2.5 C per map. And Gilded Blight Scarab, I actually was buying them in bulk for 10 C. You can buy them one by one for like 4, but I was buying them in bulk for 10. So it's not that much of additional cost. But still, I wanted to see if it's actually worth to use it. And to be honest, oils are not even that big of a profit from Blight. Most of your profit is gonna come from Blighted map, which means that this doesn't really do much, But again, I still wanted to test it. And in terms of Atlas passive, like I already said, I took most of the Blight nodes, and I forgot about this one, which is, to be honest, probably the best one to forget about, because this one, the big one, doesn't really do that much. It gives you chance to get area contains Blight encounter enchant maps, which I have one here to show you as an example. But these 4 are actually pretty nice. This is basically giving you a lucky drops from a chest. So 4 of the chests are gonna have lucky drops, which actually can give you much more rewards. So unfortunately, I didn't have these ones. And here I had a chance for higher tier oils, guaranteed 1 Blight boss, additional rewards from the chests, increased effect of modifiers on blighted maps. Blighted chests have 80% chance to contain blighted maps, which is probably the most important one. 80% chance for blight chance to contain blighted map is pretty important. Your maps with blight encounters have 20% chance to contain an additional blight encounter, which is also pretty nice, because like I said, we are gonna have only 1 blight encounter, so this basically gives you a chance for additional 1. Here, just faster spawn of monsters and more of them. This also makes encounter much harder. And the last one, which gives you a chance to drop anointed jewelry and oil extractors. And the way it works is basically you're gonna use extractor on a anointed jewelry, and it's gonna give you 1 of the oils that normally would be used to anoint the jewelry to get this enchant. So you're gonna use it on the enchants that normally are anointed with golden oils to get all the golden oils back. Okay, so these are all of the Blight passives, and the other ones that I took were the Red Influence, just for some additional influence loot. Essences, again, just for some additional loot. I did block all of the encounters to have an additional chance to spawn a second Blight. And I also took all of the small passive points for 0.5% chance for the map drops to be duplicated, because this actually works on blighted maps. So you have a in total 18% chance to duplicate blighted maps. And I did take all of the heist nodes, but to be honest, it doesn't really do anything anyway, because I'm blocking heist. I just didn't feel like refunding all of the points. And to be honest, there isn't really anything else that I could have taken for this strategy. Maybe some additional Guardian map drops. That's probably what I would have taken. Or maybe effect of modifiers or quantity of items. So I'm also losing a little bit of loot. So that's why I also said this test is not super perfect, unfortunately. In terms of map, I was using tier 16s and I was horizon orbing them into Wasteful, because the way Blight works is you want to use a very narrow maps, because the way Blight works is that, let's say if you would have a Blight here in the middle, if it's gonna create multiple lanes, let's say to the left, to the right, to the bottom right, to the bottom left, it's gonna have 4 lines. So it's gonna have 4 different rewards at the end of these lines. And when you are doing a Blight encounters, one line is guaranteed to always have Blight rewards, which is what you want for the blighted maps. But when you are doing Blight in a very narrow map, like a Wasteful, very often it's gonna have 1 line or 2 lines, and it's not gonna actually give you less rewards. It's just gonna make these rewards, these lines have multiple rewards on them. You're gonna see the number at the bottom, how many rewards this one line gives. So sometimes, normally when you would have multiple lines, you would have 1 to 2 rewards on each line. And if you encounter 1 line, you're gonna have between 5 and even 10 rewards on that line. And that 1 line is gonna be guaranteed to be Blight. So you're gonna have a ton of blighted maps from that 1 line. And I'm actually gonna show you an example of what happens when you have that. And here's the example. So I think in this map I had just 1 line in here, and it had 10 rewards, and I did drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blighted maps. So quite a lot of them, and 1 oil extractor. So it is very important to do it in narrow maps, and Wasteful is one of the better ones. Okay, so what I was doing, I was rolling it with chisels, alchemy. I was looking at the modifiers, if there's ever anything I can't do, and I would reroll the reflect. I would remove the monster action speed cannot be reduced below 0, because it works on blighted monsters, so you want to always slow them down with your towers or stun them, so you don't want that. Also, monsters have higher movement speed, and also cannot regen, because I need a little bit of regen. So these are modifiers that I was rerolling, and I didn't really care about quantity. And to be honest, now after doing the test, I'm pretty much sure I should have been more focused on getting maps with better quantity, but I guess that's too late. So in this case, I'm not gonna use a scarab, so I'm gonna show you that when you are not using a scarab, you can have up to 3 blight encounters. So enchant area contains 1 blight, sextant with additional blight, and blight on the map device. So yeah, normally I wouldn't do that, but I just want to show it to you that it is possible. But like I already said, with sextant, unfortunately, it doesn't work. But this way, for some reason, it actually works. So
I cannot do this.
So let me show you the example. let's look for the first. And what I would do is I would also first full clear a map to look for the altars, because there are also altars that give quantity, like this one, and it works on the blighted maps. And there is actually one modifier on an altar that says maps have a chance to be duplicated, but it says maps dropped by monsters have a chance to be duplicated, so I'm not super sure if that actually works on the blighted maps because they drop from the chests. My guess would be that it doesn't work because of the wording. So let me full clear it a little bit more. I wasn't like trying to absolutely full clear it, but I would clear most of the monsters. Here's the boss. Boss unfortunately takes a little bit to kill. And instead. Okay, so I mostly clear them up, so let's start with this Blight encounter. So here we're gonna see there are 3 lines. So unfortunately I didn't get the
Put out new mycelium. New
1 line.
brutes.
And in terms of towers, I would place the stunning and chilling towers, because some monsters still are gonna be immune to the stuns. So I went for the chill, just in case some of them are immune to stuns. Another thing that is hard about Blight are the Arch Nemesis monsters. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like Arch Nemesis modifiers overall, but in Blight it's even more annoying. Like when you, for example, get the temporal bubble Arch Nemesis monster, and it's very common actually. I would say every second Blight encounter I would get at least one rare monster with temporal bubble. And what it does is basically makes the monster immune to damage unless you are inside of the bubble, which is pretty bad for my build. So yeah, it was pretty annoying. On top of that, sometimes you just get very hard monsters to kill that just deal insane amount of damage. Also, obviously, another annoying part about the Blight is that it takes a long time to clear. So in this example, I'm just gonna do 1 encounter, because it would take a long time to do all 3 of them. Okay, so any Blight, 1 blighted map. And that's it. So it wasn't the best, and 1 ring that is anointed. So yeah. After I would clear 1, I would still search through the map to look at the second Blight encounter that possibly could happen because of the Atlas passives. But for now, let's just leave. Okay. Oh, and I died at the end. So that was basically it in terms of the example. Now let me show you the results. So like I said, I did 3 tests, 1 with just rusted scarab, and here you can see all of the results. Here are all of the blighted maps, so 2 tier 16, and you can sell them for 15 chaos, and other maps, so tier 13 plus, you can sell for around 12c in bulk on TFT. Here are all of the essences, maps, and additional currency that I got. So I got 1 divine, some additional guardian maps, 1 invitation, and Nico memory. Also, I was doing the Lake of Calandra, so I did get 3 tablets per test. So that's a little bit of additional time spent. And in this test, so low investment, I did not get a single golden oil, 1 silver, 1 opalescent. So now let's look at the medium investment one, and you can already see that I got a ton of blighted maps. In fact, I think I got more than 50 blighted maps. I got 1 golden oil, 1 silver, 3 opalescent, decent amount of guardian maps, and quite a lot of other loot. So medium investment was just gilded Blight Scarab. And now with high investment, which is also using the compass for additional tier of oils. And here you can see I actually got less blighted maps, but I got more golden oils and more silver oils, which definitely means that this is a pretty nice sextant. It's gonna give you more oils. But the reason why I got less blighted maps, I think, is simply because of RNG, and that's another issue with the strategy. It's actually very RNG. Sometimes I would get 20 maps without a single map with one lane maps, and I think that happened in the low investment. I don't think I had a single one. In high investment, I think I had once one line encounter, and in medium, I think it happened like 3 or 4 times with like 8+ chest rewards, blight rewards, I mean. So yeah, it is pretty RNG. And on top of that, I think maybe I just had better road maps when I was doing the medium investment. And like I said, I think in the future I would definitely try to roll my maps a little bit better. And here are also all of the anointed rings and amulets that I dropped, and all of the oils that I extracted. So here is the regex that I would use. Let me show you. So I would type this. I'm gonna write it down under the video, and I would use this to basically filter out all of the good rings and amulets for the extraction. So in this, in some of them, I actually had to buy additional extractors, and that is gonna be included in the test results. So here I got only 1 golden oil, here I got 5 actually, and here I got 3 and 1 silver. Okay, so that's basically the results. Now let me show you the spreadsheet. So here are the results of the low investment. So I got 174C from blighted maps. I did 24 maps. I was buying them for 3C in bulk, and I was horizing them, so additional like half chaos and rolling them. Rusted Scarab, you can also use just like, let's say, a sextant for Blight. It actually is a bit cheaper. You're gonna pay like 3 to 4C per sextant, and it's gonna give you 4 encounters. And like I said, you can also use the enchanted map. You probably would not be using the
I cannot do this yet.
Blight on the map device because, like I said, it's just too expensive. The only way you would use it is if you could stack it with the Gilded Scarab, and unfortunately, for some reason, we can't. In this test, I didn't buy any sextant, and I had to buy 1 extractor, and it took me 2 hours to clear 24 maps. So, blighted maps 170C, oil 60C, loot 700 chaos, which actually means that most of the loot didn't even come from blight encounters, and from extracted oils 40C. So this loot is basically just guardian maps, essences, and so on. But the investment was actually pretty low, only 100 chaos, which basically means I made 6 divines, so 3 divines per hour, which to be honest is pretty bad. And I failed 1 blight encounter. Now let's look at the gilded. So in this case, everything is pretty much the same. I got definitely much more blighted maps, but I failed actually 4 encounters. So a little bit unlucky in this one. But I definitely got much more loot, and I didn't have to buy any extractors. I actually got more extractors than I needed, and I was still not using the sextant. And I was paying 10C per Gilded Scarab, so a bit bigger investment. So in this case, I made 8.5 divines, so 4.2 divines per hour, which is definitely much more, but it's still not crazy amount. And with the sextant, I made 3.5. But like I said, I think in this one I got a bit unlucky. In this one I probably got lucky, and in this one I think I also got a little bit unlucky. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I think there was a lot of issues with this test and this strategy. I can definitely tell you that you can make much more than that, not like 3-4 divines. but you can still see that it's definitely profitable strategy. It's not like super profitable if you're not gonna do it correctly though. So what would I do to improve this strategy? And I believe you can probably push it to like 6x per hour. First thing is you should definitely just take the these passive points for the Blight. Second thing, I should be definitely rolling my maps for more quantity, maybe even valing them. Third thing is I would be using a different build that is specialized for blighted maps, maybe something with minions or totems. Toxic Rain is actually very good on blighted maps because Toxic Rain is actually slowing down the monsters and its damage over time, which means it goes through the proximity shields. So it's a very nice skill for Blight. So these are basically 3 ways I would improve the strategy. If you know any other ways you would improve it, definitely leave a message in the comment section. Another thing about the Blight is that if you are gonna invest into a map a lot, like roll it for a high quantity, and you're gonna full clear it first to get the altars. Also, by the way, for the altars, I probably should go for the green one because you're gonna get more altars. But that's another thing you could do. So if you're gonna do it anyway, maybe you could also synergize it with some other strategy that synergizes well with high quantity, like for example Harvest or Expedition. Unfortunately, Expedition is probably bad in Wastepool. You would probably want to do it in a different map, but maybe you could just remove the block for the expedition and just get from time to time free expeditions. That's another thing you could do. But yeah, definitely if I was doing Blight, I would try to stack it with something else, especially since, as you can see, I have quite a lot of points to spend because I could definitely remove all of the highest points. All of the essences are not really that important, so you can spend these points on the either Harvest, Expedition, or maybe something else. Definitely not something like Breach or Legion because they are pretty bad in Wastepool. And that's basically it for this video. Last thing I want to mention before I finish the video is the Magic Find Academy Discord. The reason why I wanted to mention this Discord is because this league, a lot of people are having issues with the making currency and currency making strategies. And this Discord is basically all about strategies, making currency in PoE. It is called Magic Find, but it's not only about Magic Find. In this Discord, you can see a chat where people are just sharing their strategies, guides, loot filters. There are also channels with like results where people are sharing their results and so on. There's also a channel with YouTube videos with a lot of content creators. People are posting their videos. So yeah. Definitely recommend checking out that channel if you are looking for some strategies, and I'm gonna link the link to this Discord in the video description. But for this video, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.